Welcome, Tim. Your thoughts this morning.
Hey, good morning. I was just calling to say that your listeners also need to know that they could contact their state senators and request that they pass a continuing resolution if they want to see SNAP benefits continued.
Are you talking about at the state level?
That's right.
So
Or
this
no,
is
no,
so important. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, at the federal level.
Can you say more about that?
Sure. Well, the Democrats have continued to vote against funding the government, and that's why SNAP benefits aren't going to be distributed.
Oh, so okay. Well, thank you so much for raising that particular aspect. Who has the House right now? Which party has the
Well,
House? It's a
the
simple
the
question.
Republicans
Republicans or
do.
Democrats?
The
Okay. Which
Republicans
party
do.
has the
The,
Senate? Which party has the
the,
Senate?
the Republicans do, but there's a
Okay, and which party has the White House?
the Republicans, but there's a
Okay,
six
so then what are we to make of your claim that it's the Democrats who are causing the shutdown?
because there's a 60 vote threshold. That's why.
Right. And so what does that mean, Tim? If there's a 60 vote threshold and you got to get to 60 votes, typically that would mean that groups who are on opposite sides of each other would have to compromise. That would mean that no group could say it's my way or the highway. Now, here's the compromising points. Democrats weren't saying, hey, give back all the money that you took out of the federal budget. You just blew up the budget by $4 trillion. And frankly, Donald Trump has presided over more than a quarter of the total budget increase, the trillions of dollars that we owe, that debt, that all was incurred under Donald Trump. A good solid quarter of the national debt incurred under one president who has had 1.5 terms, not even a full half term. And so the Democrats didn't say, hey, our compromising line is end those tax cuts that you gave to billionaires and give all the money back. No. What did Democrats finally decide to grow a spine about and defend? People's access to health care. Why? Because what's going to happen on November, Tim, if you've been paying attention, what's going to happen on November is the Affordable Care Act open enrollment period will reopen and people will get to sign up. But here's the kicker. Do you remember one of the key things that made the Affordable Care Act work? It was subsidies that would ensure that no family would have to pay more for health care than, say, their apartment, say, their housing. And those subsidies, thanks to the Republicans' big bitch ass bill, are going to explode. Not 2 times as much, 3 times higher than what they were before. We have talked about extensively on this show, and if you've been listening for any time, you would know this. We have talked extensively on this show how not only Democrats, but Republicans have talked about the fact that these healthcare subsidies are going to explode. So much so that there are many Republicans who are now begging MAGA Mike Johnson to bring them back so that they can undo some of the harm that they're causing. In addition to that, the Democrats are also saying you can't not only have these healthcare subsidies explode, you can't do things like take $1 trillion out of Medicaid, because Medicaid is designed to ensure that people who are, many of whom are working, many of whom are children, get access to health care. And one of the reasons that really matters is because did you know that 2/3 of Americans who live in nursing homes right now are only able to do so because of Medicaid? And when you cut Medicaid and those 2/3 of nursing home patients have to be kicked out of their nursing homes, which is what happens when they get kicked out of nursing homes, there's not enough people left in the nursing homes who have private insurance that will be able to pay for it to keep those nursing homes open. Oh, and by the way, I don't rely on Medicaid. I don't rely on Medicare. I have a really good health care plan. But do you know what my union told me about our health care plan? As soon as people see these health care subsidies and realize that they can't afford to go from paying $200 some odd a week or out every paycheck to $700 out of every paycheck, because people don't have that extra money. Because as you should well know, as somebody who seems to be following the media and following the news, what you should also know is that we have extensive reports that say Americans couldn't come up with an extra $500 in an emergency if they had to. So Americans who are now paying roughly $250 some odd every paycheck for their health care, when that explodes to $700 every paycheck for their health care, they're no longer going to have health care to pay for. They're not going to pay for it, which means even people like me who have a great health insurance plan, my premiums are going to go up, because if the insurance pools are shrinking because people drop out of the pools, then that destroys it for everybody. So who again is in charge of the government, Tim? Thank you so
Like I
much.
said, there's a 6 threshold.
Go ahead.
Like I said, there's a 60 vote threshold. If Democrats truly care about people, federal employees, and people on federal benefits, they'll pass a clean resolution.
Well, is it a clean resolution if all the Americans end up with no health care, Tim? Is it a clean resolution if we lose access to daycare subsidies? Is it a clean resolution if we're losing access to after-school programs and violence prevention programs and healthcare programs? Is it a clean resolution, or is it a Project 2025 resolution? And I got to be honest with you, it's clear that you and I see this issue differently. I respect your perspective, but I am really glad that the Democrats have decided to stop being pansies that get walked over and stomped on, and have decided to actually defend people who need health care. Because I'm one of those people who believes that I'm not one of those Old Testament Ten Commandment type of believers. I'm a Beatitudes type of believer. I'm not one of them people who's going to follow the law of the Old Testament. I'm one of them people who's going to follow the law that came out of Jesus's mouth. And when he said that greater things than this you will also do if you truly believe, he was talking about feeding people who were hungry. He was talking about giving people access to healthcare who need it. I prefer a government that is going to lean into defending the people who need it the most than a government who decided that billionaires are worthy of cutting the entire government off from in order to give them access to greater pocket change. But we can agree to disagree. I appreciate you. You tried it. But I do also want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to explain exactly how this works. There is a 60 vote threshold in the Senate, and that means if the Republicans were serious, they should be willing to compromise. They've got everything. But we can't govern with a my way or the highway kind of way. So thank you so much for giving us an opportunity for this civics lesson. God bless you. I pray that you have this sort of the sort of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, job, healthcare, and education that you voted for. God bless. Let's get Hanifa on the line.